Hello, everyone. Welcome to the TFR SC1 Factory Zoom call, weekly Zoom call about building your dreams and helping you create your SC1 factory. I'm Dr. Don D. Nettles. I'm going to be your solo host tonight. My beautiful wife, Marcy, is a little under the weather. She's having some coughing attacks, and we don't want her to be distracting to herself or to you or to me. So we've just asked, well, she'd actually volunteered to leave. I told her, just put a cough drop in your mouth and let's go for this. And she opted not to. And so she won't be here, but we're really super excited about this whole SC1 factory theme. We're going to carry this all the way through the end of the year. So I would say we're going to double, triple, and even quadruple down on this because it's such a simple and easy concept to follow using our ITT press play, go green, build a team system. And so we're going to talk about the thing today about the Thompson rule, and how I came across that is reading a book by Ray Higdon called Freakishly Effective Leadership in Network Marketing. It's actually more like a pamphlet. It's just a little teeny book, but chock full of great information. And it's kind of the network marketing spin that some group of people, and I assume the person who originally did this, his or her last name was probably Thompson. That's why the name is there. But it's a spin on the 80-20 rule, more of an 80-15-5. And we'll talk about the relevance of that as we get into tonight's topic. But before we do, let's get into some announcements for the week. So you got codes. Corporate was so giving to us. And as we wrap up this month of June 2025 is the last month of Q4 of fiscal 2025. And so we got codes. You got codes. You got 3 consultant codes and a customer code for 10% off for your new prospects of either customer or consultant. So use them. They will expire in 5 days. They will expire on June 22nd at midnight Mountain Time. This is a little code, or this is a little video here that was created by our executive consultant, Holly Highfield. Thank you, Holly, for putting together this amazing resource. But check this out. This will show you where to go to get the codes, because you got codes. You got 3 consultant codes and a customer code. This is how you get them. Check this out. That's awesome. So if that went by a little fast, and I got to admit, I'm a pretty fast reader, but that went by a little fast, and try to commit those things to memory, don't worry about it. This is being recorded, and we're going to upload it to the Team Freedom Reigns YouTube channel, which I can't believe I didn't tell y'all about that. We talk about it every week. That QR code on the slide before had it there. So this is going to be uploaded to the Team Freedom Reigns YouTube channel, so you can watch that video on the video that we'll be uploading later as many times as you need to see how to get to the codes, because you got codes. You got 3 consultant codes and 1 customer code, and again, they will expire on June 22nd at midnight Mountain Time. You can access them through your replicating website, or as you saw in the video there, through the app. And as I said, if that went by a little fast, don't worry about it. It's recorded. We'll show you how, so you can go check it out and watch that. Move on. So Drive 25 Activate. That is the virtual event coming up on July 12th of 2005. It's going to be 90 minutes of awesome. And there's going to be a huge announcement. I would know, plural, make that plural. There's going to be huge announcements coming. So you want to go on this, you want to register. That QR code right there in the bottom right of your screen is the way you do that. So if you are watching this on the replay, or if you've got your cell phone camera out and you are watching this on Zoom, get your camera out, go to that and register for the Drive 25 Activate virtual event, where there's going to be what? Huge announcements coming, and it's free. Why would you not want to get involved with a free 90-minute virtual event to build your business? That wasn't a real question. That was a rhetorical question, meaning you need to be on there. You need to go now and register. You need to go to that QR code and you need to be live, actually host a watch party in your home for Drive 25 Activate coming up on the 12th of July. Now, this is going to be what it's about. So it is the 12th of July, like I said, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. This is the event overview. So it says 1 hour, but it's going to be about an hour and a half. They said, well, this is what Steve Fife, our amazing CEO, said, no more than 90 minutes. And when Steve Fife says no more than 90 minutes, it will go no more than 90 minutes. I don't know why I kind of channeled a little robotic voice right there, but that's the key. But all markets across the world, register watch parties, get on there, focused on mind, body, business training, and something big is coming. You want to be there. So be there. Don't be square. Be there. And the Momentum Academy, Drive 25 is the theme for calendar year 25. The Momentum Academy, which is going to be the 23rd through the 25th of October in Dallas, Texas. That there is the QR code. And why don't you guys give a big shout out to Marcy for always putting these QR codes in there and making it easy for us to register. This is just a stroke of genius. Thank you, Marcy. I appreciate you. And I hope everybody appreciates how Marcy makes it so simple to go there and register. It's only $99. If you register right now, it will go up to $129 on site. So why waste 30 bucks? Get on there now. I would say commit to it. Plant your flag in the ground that you're going to be successful, because the training we're about to give you here on the Thompson rule is going to make that even more of a mandatory thing for you. So attend all events, make it happen, go there, register now. This here is the cadence. This is the agenda. So Thursday, the 23rd, executive shopping experience. Well, you guys can read. Actually screenshot this because I'm eager to get to the content today. These updates, these news items, they are noteworthy, but we've shared this with you before. This is certainly not the first time. So take a screenshot of that. Better yet, don't worry about the screenshot. Go to that QR code, register now, and worry about what happens then. But take a screenshot if you want to know if you're the preparedness type. And oh my gosh, this hand cream. One of the cool things about being part of the FAB, the Field Advisory Board, Marcy and I were appointed to the Field Advisory Board for calendar year, fiscal year 20, or calendar year 25 and fiscal year 2026. We got a chance to try this. We got a chance to put it on our hands, smell it. I was so tempted to lick my hands and like suck my fingers because this stuff, that's kind of graphic, I'm sorry. But this is amazing. This flavor or scent of this amazing hand cream, the mango blossom, is straight up fire. I'm telling you. And it's for 175 bucks of free gifts for new customers. This is a new customer. Just go there, get this, enroll new customers, and just, it's amazing. So let me just, that's all I can say. Club Fastlane. This is the approach. So Club Fastlane is this whole Activate 2025 moving in the fast lane. It's Club Fastlane, building those SC1 factories as rapidly as possible, following what? The press play, ITT, go green, build a team approach. It is the way to get to the finish line. Now, back to this whole thing about this month. The month of June is very, very, that was 3 varies if you were counting. 3 very, very, very important reasons why you need to make sure you get 400 SB this month. Because next month on the 12th, when that Activate virtual, there's going to be a huge announcement. And if you don't get the 400 in this month, 400 SB, you are going to kick yourself in the ever-loving ass. And yes, I'm sorry, that was kind of a swear word, but let me put a little urgency. If you do not get the 400 SB in this month, and when you find out what they're going to announce on July 12th, you're going to be super upset. So just trust me when I tell you, you want to hear what they're going to say on July 12th. You want to hear what that announcement is about and why you want to hear it, because when you've got the 400 SV qualification done in the books, check the box for June, you'll understand why I'm telling you this right now. So If you forget everything on today's Zoom, don't forget this. Get your 400 for June. I'm just telling you. Get into Club Fastlane, and the way you do that is get your 400 SV for June. Now let's celebrate some people that have already done so for this month. They've already achieved Club Fastlane. Let's hear a big shout out for Amanda Brooks. Yay, Amanda. Then there's 4 people we want to celebrate here. If I can find my cursor and move this dialog box, I'll be able to get to all of them. And Sophia, congratulations, Amanda and Sophia, for hitting Club Fastlane. Absolutely phenomenal accomplishment. You should be proud of yourselves, so proud of yourselves. And if you know these women, call and congratulate them, because that is a big thing. Add yourself, make it a point before the end of the month to add yourself to Club Fastlane 400 SV. That's how you do it. And Kimson and Delsa, again, congratulations to you as well. Huge, huge accomplishment. And mark the words of the people I just told you about. When the July 12th announcement comes, ask these 4 people right here, are you happy that you got the 400 SV in June and you hit Club Fastlane? They're going to be screaming out of their skin so much that you will just know by their reaction. The answer is yes. So be there. Make sure you get Club Fastlane qualified. So the high-speed health pack, this is what we're really, really pushing for this SC1 factory, this Activate 25, this whole Fastlane, Club Fastlane thing right here, $245 for consultants. It is the high-speed health stack. It's worth 200 SV. Oh, what would 2 of these be? How many SV would 2 of these be? 400. There you go. There's your strategy for your 400 SV to get to Club Fastlane so that you can capitalize on and be patting yourself and giving yourself an attaboy or an attagirl on July 12th when they announce the huge announcement. So this is critically important. Or the high-speed health stack. Guess how much this is? This is for subscription customers. It's also 200 SV. So 200 customers, subscription customers on the high-speed health stack. There you go. You just got Club Fastlane qualified. Make it happen, people. So now let's get into today's training on the Thompson rule. And again, I want to give credit where credit is due. Ray Higdon, one of the most awesome trainers in network marketing, wrote a book with his wife, Freakishly Effective Leadership in Network Marketing. And while reading this, Marcy and I were reading this out loud. I was reading it out loud, and she was just sitting there, just soaking it all in the bliss of my reading skills. In all seriousness, we read books to each other because it's awesome. We just like to participate in that. And we learned from this book something called the Thompson rule, which is, again, a network marketing equivalent of the 80-20 rule. It's 80%, 15%, 5%, which actually represents 100% of your prospects, okay? That's the context, your prospects, and how to prospect them effectively using the Thompson rule. So let's get into this. The Thompson rule, what is it? Well, it's that 80, 15, 5. But here's the thing. Why understanding your prospects' goals changes everything. Like literally everything. Because your prospects' goals are maybe, I would say with about 95% certainty or likelihood, they may be different than yours. That's perfectly acceptable. But if we don't think they are, for example, when I got involved in this business 16 years ago on the 18th of May 18th was my 16-year anniversary, I thought that everybody who joined a network marketing opportunity, or more specifically, everyone who joined LifeVantage, everyone wants to become a Pro 10, or what we now call a presidential consultant. And when somebody looked at our company, they looked at our products, they looked at our opportunity, they looked at our compensation plan, they looked at what could possibly be made financially, and they said, nah, I don't want the Pro 10, or again, the modern equivalent of a presidential consultant. I could not, I repeat, I could not understand, because that was my goal. Because I was loving being a chiropractor, but I was hating being married to, or I would say a slave to my practice, such that I never saw my children. So I wanted financial freedom so that I could be a dad and provide for my family. But I had to choose between doctor or daddy, and I wanted daddy more. So I didn't understand why people didn't want to become the top rank of our company. But guess what? Less than 95% of people did. Or 90%, 95% of people, 95% of people or more did not want what I want. That was the big aha moment. And that really speaks to what the Thompson rule is all about. Understanding why your prospect's goals may be different than yours, accepting that, because when you do, and you understand what your prospect's goals are, and you can identify them, it's going to change everything for you. And your enrolling of consultants and customers and just your leadership is going to dramatically improve. So let's get into the nuts and bolts on this. So think of this. You've been either, whether you're texting someone, you're having a phone call with them, whether it's a three-way phone call or even a face-to-face interaction, and you're talking to them about the company. You're talking to them about what you're passionate about and what your experience has been and what you could see for them necessarily. And they're like, I don't get it. And you're like, you want to wring their neck. It's like, what's wrong with you? What don't you see here? You just told me you needed more money. This is an awesome way to make money. Or you just told me your health isn't what you would like it to be, and these products will help you. What don't you understand? And you're frustrated. They're confused. Anyone ever had a conversation like this? Or has anyone ever felt like this? Like you're speaking a different language, or you must be talking, they must be on another planet, or maybe they're like half asleep or drunk or something. I think all of us have gone through it multiple times. So if you've ever had conversations that left them confused and you frustrated, you just weren't speaking the same language. You were speaking different language, or they were putting out cues you weren't picking up, or you were giving statistics that they didn't want statistics. They wanted to feel something. That's my entire point. And again, I got to give credit where credit is due. My last name's not Thompson. I didn't invent this. I just thought, oh my gosh, we got to share this because this is powerful. So if you've ever been frustrated because your person is confused, or they say, yeah, they're interested, and then they go into the witness protection program and you never hear from them again, it's like, well, obviously they weren't that interested because I've never heard it from them again. Whatever it is, fill in the blank for your experience. It's just because you might have missed something, or they might have missed something. So here it is. This is the graphic nature of this. Take a picture of this. This is the screenshot. 80% of people, this is what they want. And this is specifically meant for network marketing opportunities. 80% of people just want to make about $500 a month, or between $300 and $500 a month for supplemental income. 80%, meaning 8 out of 10 people that you share these products or this opportunity with, all they're looking for is about $300 to $500 extra bucks a month if they like what you say, if they like what they're hearing, if they're leaning in, because they're just looking for supplemental income. Now there's another group, the 15 group. They're just looking for about $2,000 plus a month. These are the side business, the side hustle folks. They may be, if they heard what you said, they're looking for an extra couple grand a month. And so if you're talking about presidential and 20,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 or whatever, trips everywhere, they may be hearing blah, 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 or they may be completely tuned out, or they may have hung up on you already. Who knows? They're just not looking for what you may be looking for. Now the 5%, if we have 80 plus 9 or plus 15, we're talking about 95% of people are not even interested in presidential. It's just because they're not. These are the people that, but there are 5% who are. They want CEO type money. These are the major income replacement people. These are the entrepreneurs through and through. So if you just understand that if you have a prospect list of 100 people, of that list, and don't prejudge, but 80% of them, or 80 of those people, only want to make an extra $300 to $500 a month because they're looking for supplemental income. About 15% of them, or 15 out of 100, are wanting some side business. They want a side hustle. They want to make a couple, $2,000 or $3,000 a month. And then there's the 5% that are looking for a career change. They're looking for, they've got a high school diploma and they want to make CEO type money, and they don't have time or desire or an acceptance letter from an MBA university. They don't want that, but they do want the income. That's about 5% of people. So once you understand this, more importantly, once you accept this, This changes everything for you, my friends. It's about how we approach people. So let's break this down. So the 80% of the 80%, again, of your prospect list, let's call them the supplementers. They're looking for a coffee date once in a while. They're looking for a way to support their Starbucks habit, or they're looking for a little mini 3-day vacation, or they just want to go on a shopping spree once in a while. Again, what's their goal? Their goal is an extra $300 to $500 a month. What is the reason or their motivation for wanting that extra $300 to $500 a month? They just want to have some fun. They want to have some fun money, and they want to have some small luxuries that allows them to just splurge every once in a while. And an extra $300 to $500 a month on top of their regular job is a great way to fund that supplement, fund that fun money account, fund those small luxuries that they want. And how much time do they want to put involved, or do they want to invest if they like what they hear? 5 to 10 hours a week max. And if you look close, max is capitalized. So these are people that are just looking for, in their spare time, a way they can make about $300 to $500 a month max, and they're going to put in maybe 5 to 10 hours a week because they love a shopping spree, a little mini 3-day vacation or cruise once in a while, or just a way to supplement their Starbucks habit without having it cut into their main paycheck. That's what they want. They don't want to quit their day job. They like their day job, but they'd like to have an extra $300 to $500 a month. This, my friends, is 80% of your prospects. So give them, watch for their cues, assume right out of the gates 80%. Now, don't prejudge anybody, but just realize these are really valid statistics with decades and decades of effort in multiple companies throughout this industry. The entire industry itself supports these numbers. So, and it's not something that's made up, it is factual. So just realize 80% of your people are supplementers. Pretty plain and simple. So now the next 15%, the side hustlers. They're looking for a car payment that's not coming out of their paycheck. They're looking for a bigger vacation to take their family to every other summer or something like that. Or they're looking for a way to fund their the kids' college funds without, again, having it come out of their paycheck of their main gig. This is 15% of the population, the side hustlers. And what's their goal? About $1,500 to $2,000 or $3,000 a month. What's their motivation? Meaningful financial relief. Relief is the key word. So they've got their primary career. This is a way to say meaningful, meaning large enough to make a big enough difference that they're not cutting into their paycheck or their 401k or their savings they're putting away. These are the side hustlers. And how much time are they willing to put into it per week? About 10 to 20 hours. So this goes from a spare time to a part-time gig. The side hustlers, that's kind of the entire niche of that people. But what do they want? They want to make a real dent in their budget for car payments, kid college funds, family vacations, family activities, etc. 15 out of 100, 15%. Now, let's talk about the 5%, the highest pinnacle of success, but the smallest group of people. We'll call them the empire builders. So what's their goal? 5,000 plus per month, all the way to the top of our comp plan. And what's their motivation? Financial freedom, wealth, legacy, time, and financial freedom. And what are they willing to commit to it time-wise? 20 plus hours a week as it grows, and treating it like a business. Because these people, these rare gems of people, they're looking for something big. They're looking for the luxury house. They're looking for time and financial freedom. They're looking for the luxury car. And ideally, they're looking for an entire career change. Now, most of these people are already entrepreneurs, or they're high-level executive, white-collar type job people that are used to a pretty significant financial lifestyle, but there's no longevity in it that they've determined, and they're looking for something new. They're looking for something fresh. They're looking for something that makes a difference. These are also very, very empathetic people that like to do things for a cause, and so do actually all categories do. But these people are very much emotionally Emotional contribution driven, they're empire builders. They're big visionaries. But look at the small percentage. This is only 5 out of 100, which means 95 people, nope, don't want that, not interested. These are the empire builders. Now, I came in to this company as an empire builder, expecting everyone else wants to be an empire builder too. And I was sorely mistaken, and I was very frustrated. I was angry at this stuff doesn't work. What's wrong with these people? They just simply have different priorities. They had a different why than I did. My why was to be a stay-at-home daddy to my kids because I never saw them with my previous practice. That's why this was so enticing to me, and it worked out really, really well. But let's talk about before the Thompson rule. So how do people act? What do people sound like? What does an invite look like? What do people think like before they understand the Thompson rule? So I'm talking about you prior to now. Me prior to identifying this book, and I heard about something similar, not quite defined as the Thompson rule, but had our enroller, Blue Elam, kind of sit down with me and say, you cannot expect other people to want what you want. You have to let them explain to you what they want, and then help them get what they want. And as Jim Rohn or Zig Ziglar or all the other kind of personal health gurus from ages gone by, what do they say? Help enough people get what they want, and that'll help you get what you want. That's kind of another definition of the Thompson rule. But hey, Jane, want to make some money from home? You could make thousands. Well, not if she wasn't interested in making thousands. It's not going to work. So does this sound familiar? This whole one size fits all approach, all it does for the most part, for the 95%, is create confusion and rejection. And by a show of hands, who likes rejection? Not me. No one does. Unless you're like, I don't know, there may be some people do, but most people don't like rejection. So before the Thompson rule and the one size fits all approach, it just simply doesn't work, and it leads to confusion and rejection. But after the Thompson rule, when you understand what the 80% really want, it sounds a little different. It may sound like something like this. I know you love your coffee. What if I could show you how to earn your coffee money each month with just a few hours a week? People say, well, it can't be that simple. But for someone who's only looking to fund their coffee without diving into their paycheck or their 401k, leaving that alone and having a little side money, these aren't the side hustlers. These are what? The supplementers, right? That's perfect. That's exactly what they want to hear. So it's speaking their language. The difference in all of this is you speak their language, not try to teach them yours. And that was probably my biggest mistake, is I got involved in something. I think you'd be really good at that. I could see you really doing well with that. I got to sit down. When can you spend 5 minutes to sit down with me and hear about what I'm doing? I cannot believe I actually used to use that approach. I want to gag myself right now just admitting that to you, because who was all that about? It was about them. I'm asking them to spend their time to hear about me and why I'm so excited. It doesn't work. So when we're talking about what they want, it's super important. So if you know their lifestyle, you know what they want, you know the things that they love, help them get it without tapping into their paycheck. I'm telling you, 80% it works. It's after the Thompson rule, speaking their language and listening for the cues they give you. But what is after the Thompson rule to the 15% look like and sound like? It's like, hey, I know money's been tight with all the kids' activities. What would an extra $2,000 a month do for your family's stress level? Now, who is that about? Is that about you, or is that about them? You're acknowledging something that's a pain point for them. You're showing you care about them. You're a compassionate person, and you're offering them you're offering them to imagine. Give them an option to see things differently potentially in the future than they have right now. You're giving them literally a rescue rope. What would an extra $2,000 a month do for your family's stress level? This is huge, because now you're addressing their specific pain points and their goals and what they want, and you're giving them a solution. One of the things that I love about listening to Tara Wilson, when it was probably 5 or 6 years ago, maybe more, when she was kind of defining, and she had a lot of success prior to coming to LifeVantage. And it was kind of a breath of fresh air when her and Rachel Picard came to LifeVantage. But something Tara said that was really, really impactful for me and Marcy is she said, we don't sell products at LifeVantage. We offer solutions. That was so huge, because when you are sharing with someone who's been vulnerable with you, or you know something that could be somewhat vulnerable about them, and you're offering a solution, and what would an extra $2,000 a month do for you and your family, or your family stress level? I can't tell you how critically important that is. That is massive. Now it's addressing their specific points, their pain points, and their goals, and they're going to appreciate you for that. And then what about after the Thompson rule for the 5%? These people are already, you're already successful, but I can tell you're hungry for more. You want to see how top earners are building real wealth in this industry? Now that approach, kind of consider this fishing. If you are using bait that 95% of the fish don't want, you're not going to get very many bites. But if you're you're singling it down and isolating it down to an area that you think may have some pretty big fish, and it's really the only bait they bite on, and you throw it in there, you may have to wait a little longer. You may get a little teeny bit of nibbles by all the other multitudes of fish around it. It may feel like a real bite, but it's not. And then when you get that bite, it's amazing, because these people respond to a bigger vision and proven results because they've got a different vocabulary. They're looking for different inclusion criteria. They don't care about funding their coffee or buying their coffee habits. They don't care necessarily about a college fund. They don't necessarily think about things about taking a mini vacation. They're looking at legacy building. They're looking at luxury homes, luxury cars, wealth, leaving a legacy, providing a quality of life for their kids, their grandkids. Bigger vision, different bait, much smaller population. But when you understand what they listen for, what they're wanting, you understand how differently to talk to them. Very, very different approach. This is priceless. And so how do you identify each type? So the 80%, or what do we call those? The supplementers. They say things like, when they see a video, they hear about our products, they hear about the opportunity, they hear about an incentive trip, they hear about a promotion. They say things like, oh, that sounds fun. I could use some extra spending money, but I don't have much time. They just identified themselves with that vocabulary as a supplementer. So one, don't get your high hopes up that they're going to come in on the highest pack. Don't get your high hopes up that they're going to attend every event. Don't get your high hopes up that they're going to be going for broke and getting on every team call and going, because they're probably not going to. Because what's their goal? An extra $200 to $300, $500 a month to support their coffee habit, to go on a little mini vacation, or go on a shopping spree once in a while. Now, what are the 15%? What do the side hustlers, what kind of vocabulary do they use? They will say things like, well, how much time does this take? And I need something reliable. Tell me more about the compensation plan. So they're talking a little differently. They're wanting a little differently. This is something about, $1,500 to $5,000 a month. That's what these guys and gals are looking for. So they say things like this. I hope you identify them as a side hustler. Now, remember, the 80%, 5 to 10 hours a week. The side hustlers maybe 10 to 20 hours a week. So it's going to be a different investment, a little different buy-in, a little different motivation. Now, the 5%, they say things like, what kind of growth have you seen? Whether it's the company, your own specific organization, or your personal business. Who are your top earners? They may know some names. They may be looking social media. They may be looking for influencers. They may be looking at, oh yeah, I've heard of that person. I know that person. I read that guy's book. What's the real potential? They're asking compensation plan type questions like, what does your earnings disclosure statement look like? What does the top rank look like? What kind of money do they earn? That person is identifying themselves as what? This empire builder, the 5%. So when you're talking about whatever you're talking about our stacks, and we're talking about product benefits, you may be not, the person that you're talking to with this, they're probably not even hearing a thing you say, because they're not looking for the things that you may be saying. So before you say anything to anyone, maybe have some kind of, unless you know them really well, then you can kind of gear what you're going to say, but what ultimately your expectations are. Now, here's something we haven't talked about yet. Could a 80% person ever become a 15% person. Absolutely. It happens all the time. And 15 percenters can become 5 percenters. Once they get involved, they've proven that it works and something changes in their life. I'll get into that in a little bit more too. But what's your follow-up strategy with these people? So in the 80%, the supplementers, they focus on simplicity, and so should you. This should be your approach. Simplicity, keeping it fun, minimal time commitment as far as what you're having an expectation, how you're presenting this to them. The 15%, the side hustlers, you show realistic earnings. Talk about that mid-level of our compensation plan on our income disclosure statement, what the investment is, time investment, and the support system, because these people are pretty resourceful, but it's really, really important for this 15% and especially the 5% to know they've got a good support system that is tried and true in their leadership, and they can count on them. And then the 5%, share the vision of the company with them. Connect them with higher end leaders. Discuss serious business building. This is the kind of vocabulary that they want. It's the vocabulary that they're listening for. And if in your conversations you're not having them, you may have somebody who really wants the 5%. They're in that. They're looking to build a legacy. They're looking to build a wealth. They're looking to go to the top of the company. But based on what you're saying, they're not hearing that in your vocabulary. You might not get a call back, and they may go look for another company. So be very, very, very aware of what kind of things they're saying, what kind of vocabulary are they using, so you know how to follow up. Very, very, very important. And common mistakes to avoid. Don't ever, ever, ever oversell the 80%. Because the 80%, remember, these are what? The supplementers. They want to make 15 or $300 to $500 a month. So don't oversell them about the higher levels of the comp plan. They're not interested. Don't oversell them and upsell them on the packages of products. They're not interested. And the middle category, so don't assume anyone's category. Don't assume. Let them talk to you. Listen to the questions they're asking. Listen to the words they're using, and let what they say help you put them in either the 80, the 15, or the 5. But don't assume someone's category, or better said, don't prejudge. And then don't undersell the 5%. The people that are looking for the legacy builders, show them all the way to the right on the income disclosure statement. The presidential consultants, show them what can be made. Show them the bonuses. Show them the earning potential. Show them everything. Show them what the company has done. Show them the stock price. Show them the fact we're publicly traded. Show them the fact we're publicly traded on the NASDAQ. Those are the kinds of things that the 5%ers, the legacy builders, want to see and hear. So don't undersell them. In other words, don't minimize the opportunity to the 5%. Don't overinflate the opportunity to the 80%. And don't assume any of those categories, and you'll be safe. So here's the biggest mistake people make. And I will be leading from the pack on this. I made this mistake constantly. Sometimes I even still do. Treating a coffee money person like they want to be CEO. What is that? You're prejudging. You're assuming. The biggest mistake you can make is assume what category people are going to be into. So don't do that. Here are some action steps for you. Review your prospect list. Go through your prospect list, name by name by name. And if you need to go through and refresh it and revamp it and add names to it, do that first. And then review the prospect list. And what kind of dialogue does this person have with me? What do I know about them? What is important to them in their lives? What are they presently in their current job? What are they working towards? And that will help you have a little bit better idea and maybe start to be able to see where they belong, but you're analyzing them, you're reviewing them. whether they're the 80, the 15, or the 5, and also give people permission. I want to revisit this now. Permission, give the 80% permission to change to a 15%, and give the 15% to change the ability and permission to change to a 5%. Because let's say somebody's in the 80%, they just want some coffee money. They want to take a little mini vacation once in a while and maybe go on a shopping spree and buy a new wardrobe every 3 to 5 years. But then what happens? They crash their car, the hot water heater goes out, and maybe a meteor comes through their roof. In all seriousness, maybe they have a water leak in their attic because of a rainstorm. Now they just went through their savings. They just put a claim into their insurance company, which jacked the premium up, and they went through their savings, their deductible. They had to take a loan out to meet their deductible. Do you think that person who was happy previously with getting their Starbucks paid for and maybe a mini vacation once in a while is paid for, do you think they're happy now that they've got credit card debt? They took out a loan for the deductible on the insurance because of the leaky roof, and now they had to take on a new car payment. You think there's a little bit more incentive to go from a supplementer maybe to a side hustler? Have that conversation. Say, I know you've seen our compensation plan before. You're already involved in this. You know you're doing pretty well. With all the things that are going on in your life right now, can I offer you a second look at the next tier? There's a lot of ways to make money in this. You can make a lot more. Would that be interesting to you at this juncture of your life? You probably have somebody, what do we call that? We call that high noon, where that was not an option for them before they crashed the car, before their hot water heater broke down, and before they got a roof leak and had to take a loan out for the deductible. They're different now. That person may be a 15%er. Now something similar in a 15%er that's living life. They've got the car, they've got the college fund, and they're living pretty high on the hog. And then they see something, they get inspired. Maybe one of their parents is not doing well and they're declining in their health and they've got to take time off work and they're missing work and they're missing work and they're missing work. And now they get a warning or they get laid off or the company gets acquired by another company and their really, really nice 6-figure executive paycheck is now gone because the severance package, the new purchasing company that came in didn't offer severance packages. It's like, oh, well, sorry, we're outsourcing all of our products overseas and all of our workforce is overseas, or they're going to all go online. Have we heard that happen time and time and time again? Well, that 15% person may just, you know what? They instantly became a 5%er. They'll be saying, well, how much do those presidential consultants make again? What do we got to do that? And everything changed for them. So give them the ability to change. So review your prospect list, categorize based on what you know about them. Adjust your approach for each conversation depending upon where they are in their life, maybe in the past, where they are currently, and if there's something new you know about them, start the conversation all over again. And guess which is a great way to keep your finger on the pulse? Facebook posts. Facebook posts when somebody needs prayer because they got a bad diagnosis from their doctor. Facebook posts because they crashed their car. Does anybody know a good used car dealership? Start looking for things like that may make them want to be wherever they are. Maybe they go to the next level. Maybe the 80s go to the 15s and the 15s go to the 5s. And listen for their cues, not your assumptions. So critically important. So here's the call to action, my friends. This week, so from this Tuesday to next Tuesday, practice the Thompson rule approach with 3 prospects. And I would maybe look at this, a brand new prospect that you just met, somebody who you've been prospecting before, maybe they've listened before, but they have never made a decision, and somebody that who's told you no before. Revisit it based on something you may now know about them or a new product that they didn't know about before or a new flavor of Axia, whatever the case. Somebody who told you no, somebody who they've heard a little bit before, but it has been a while, and somebody brand new. Or however, just 3 people. Pick the 3 and go after with the practice this Thompson rule. Go, like I said, Marcy will eventually, sometime probably later today, upload this to the Team Freedom Reigns YouTube channel. Watch this again, go through the things, use the Thompson rule, and let's talk about it maybe in a couple weeks. I'm thinking maybe in a couple weeks we revisit this and we just have an open session where, how did it go for you guys? What did you guys learn? Now that you understand the difference in the Thompson rule, how did it change your prospecting success? Now, all of this fits perfectly into the overarching system we've already got, that SC1 factory using the ITT press play to help them go green and build the team. That's the entire focus with this, right? So call to action. There you go. back to the SC1 factory from now until the end of the year. We're doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on this. So thank you guys for attending. Look for the replay on this when it's up. Share the link with all your people. Share the link with your leaders. Share the link with your team, and share the link with, and watch it over and over yourself, because I think this training is going to be super, super important. And it's going to help people just kind of have aha moments about why the Thompson rule, understanding it, prospecting accordingly, is going to have a major, major impact on your business. So we'll see you guys next week. Say prayers for Marcy that her cough goes away. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful day. Take care. God bless.